Hey everyone, this is Royal with you. Once again, this is the Student Success Series of the Paternity University YouTube channel. I'm here with Ebony Lewis, star student here. Her name is not Ebony Lewis, it is Ebony Lewis. One of my star students who has persevered, and I want her to tell her story. So Ebony, how are you? How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good to hear. And I appreciate you for coming on and to talk about this. So give us a little bit of background about yourself, Ebony. Where are you from? What do you do and how did you get into this business?
All right. Well, my name is Ebony, and I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida. I like to call it Orlando because people don't know the small towns around, but I'm from Orlando, Florida, and my family and I are out here in DeLand, Volusia County. I got started into the paternity DNA service. My brother actually put me onto this. He does insurance adjusting, and I saw that he's a good friend of yours or a colleague of yours, and he said this would be something great. You know, you have kids, you're going through a certain situation quite similar to this,
Mm.
um, where you're going to need a DNA test, and I had to go through the entire headache of just court and finding someone, not knowing where to start.
Mm.
So I figured this would be something that could be personal to me, but I also wanted to hop into it for that very reason. I didn't know where to start, and others don't know either. So why not help them?
Mm. I definitely want to talk about that because I've connected with people who have gone through this situation themselves, male or female,
Mhm.
and
Right.
they all have the same thing in common, is that the lack of information and the lack of communication from either the DNA agencies or the courts is just left a bad taste in their mouth, pretty much. And I want to
That's
talk
pretty.
about how you do business as opposed to what your experience was, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a second. Um, yeah. So tell us about how you started your paternity testing business. What things you went through to start it, and how was your first call?
Okay. So one of the first things that I did was go and get your course. I purchased your course. Um, and I was able to go through the course and take notes and literally just follow everything just to a T. You know, you give every step, every little thing you have to do. And if as long as you follow it to a T, and stay consistent, then you'll start to see things develop. So, starting with your LLC or your EIN, and then starting with your actual name. And then once you realize your name is a real and you see yourself live on Google, then you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm real. Like
Yeah.
I'm legit.
Yep.
Okay. So this is good. And then you notice, that you don't really get any calls or anything. It's just mostly exposure. And then when you get that first call, like for me, I'm not gonna lie, I did freeze up just a little bit. I froze up because I guess I just wasn't ready for it, but when that call comes in, it's like people automatically just want to know off bat, hey, I saw you online, what are your prices? You know? And once you understand exactly what they need, you kind of kick the flow and it just goes.
Mm.
You know what your business is, you know what you're doing. And once you find out what your client needs, you automatically just kind of roll into it. And you get more and more comfortable speaking to people and explaining to them, what the services they may need as opposed to what they think they want. And it's just really cool to see that you're a boss. Like you really are a boss around
Mm.
here, making your own moves, your own schedule. You know what I mean? Like, and once you secure that first deposit, or once you secure like those results at the end, like your
Mm.
first case, once it's completed, you're just like, I want to do more of these.
Mm.
And that's where your marketing comes in, different marketing strategies and how to get clients and stuff like that comes into place.
Well, again, that's exactly you touched on the whole journey, and I love it how you talked about everything from beginning to end, ups and downs. So let's talk about your marketing strategies, because and I always say in the Slack channel, there's no limit to how you market. And you have done some very creative things, and you're working on something very creative right now. So tell us about Ebony's marketing strategy.
Okay, my marketing strategy is old school, beat the street.
Yep.
I'm old fashioned, go out and paint. Okay, go and get your face out there. I know it's hot, but take you some water, all right, and get you some snacks and get out there. Go to where your target market is. My target market is, I have to say it, quote unquote, the hood. And that's where I go to because a lot of my clients are single Black moms or single Black fathers that are probably questioning their children. And, we all are young and out here wild and reckless at some point. You know what I mean? So that's where I go. So it's, beating the street. I went to Vistaprint and got some business cards. I've customized them. I made them pretty much short and sweet.
I love it. You got the square ones.
Yeah, little tiny square ones.
Yeah.
Everything compact on the front, and then my service list is on the back where it shows the prices. I'm sorry, I can't get in the frame. Yep. With the pricing, because where I'm from, to be honest with you, where I'm from, we love to see prices. We need to see what it looked like. Yeah. So to see if we can afford that. And once we see, oh, okay, like, that fits within my budget, now we're speaking the same language. And that's how I get, those in my market. So be in the street. Right now I'm working on where I have a van. So I went on Marketplace and I was like, where can I find like a really inexpensive vehicle? It's going to be real cheap for my insurance, something like that. So I was just like, I found it for about $1,600. Okay. And it pretty much just needs like, the nice oil change, kind of get it together, quick tune up, and some nice tires. I fixed up the outside myself just by doing some minor facelifting and went online and got those big magnetic stickers.
Yes.
Yeah. So I put my logo and my business service. So same thing that's on my business card. I print it on that magnetic sticker, slap it on the back of my window so I can peel it off anytime I want to. When I'm on the clock, I have it. When I'm off, I can peel it off.
I love it. Yeah. I think, Ebony, you might be, maybe somebody else has, but I haven't seen it. You might be the first person to ever have the DNA van. You know what I mean? Like I said, you don't have the full wrap. Me personally, I wouldn't have like a full, hey, y'all, get your paternity test in this van right here. Like, but you have the magnetics, which is smart. It's smart because, like I said, you can take it on and off. Maybe even when you're doing a test, you take it off so you're discreet. And if you're in the, what I'm saying, people in the language or whatnot, you might be the first person. I haven't seen nobody do that before. And that's why I keep saying is like, your marketing is not just limited to Google ads. It's not. You can go out there, like you said, beat the street, get out there. My mom, when she was coming up, before there was Google ads, for real, like really notice, she would have barbershop talks. She would go to these barbershops and schedule time to talk to these men about paternity testing and their rule and the laws, and they'd be like, "What? I didn't know that." And that's how she gets the clients. So I love your marketing strategy. I love it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. So around, let's see, when you come to Orlando, if you're ever in Orlando, the hottest spots are going to be like downtown, OBT, International, Pine Hills, all that. So those are the areas where, yes, it's tourism, but those are the areas where a lot of Floridians do live, especially my target market, because they have those Black-owned businesses where I can go into where the gentlemen own clothing shops or shoes, sneaker shops, or the women own lash shops and nail shops and hair weave places. I go there because I know my target market is probably out there. Yeah. I do speak to the gentlemen and they're like, wait, what? This lawyer tried to get me to do like 10K for a retainer. I don't have to do none of that. No, you don't need a family lawyer for this unless it gets sticky where you need a family lawyer. You don't need that. Right. And they're like, whoa. So now I have them plus their whole clique, plus, the girl who does the braids in the barbershop. Then I have, so now it's everybody. And then word of mouth just spreads naturally. Beautiful. On Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I do like I don't know how to TikTok dance at all. Okay. I'm not a TikTok dancer, but there's a couple dances I thought that was sweet. And I just added that in, put some music over it, the latest, most common music. Now I put that layover on top of it and boom, I got like 18,000 looks, likes, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it is now.
Yeah.
It's marketing, free. Why not?
Yeah,
And you make
marketing.
money online. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, and we're gonna keep talking about marketing because that's really it. It's just getting in front of eyes. You got to get your business in front of eyes. And once you get in front of those eyes, people call you, and when you answer the phone, you're knowledgeable, you're professional. It's money in the
Right.
bank, and you're helping people. You know.
Right. Right.
Um, how did you determine your pricing? How did you determine how you're going to charge for your test?
So I did take some advice from the Slack chat as well as yourself, Royal. Make calls or I go to the places if they're close enough. So all the labs that are around, and I connect my charger. Sorry about that. All the
Don't
labs,
worry, I'll edit that part out. It's okay.
all the labs and stuff like that are around. So I went there and pretty much just asked them, what are your, I'm sorry, I'm just not holding. What are your prices for this? What are your prices for that? As far as like your paternity test for like a trio, standard trio. And they'll say what the price is. I write down the name of the lab, who I called, who I spoke to, and their price. And for the most part, if it's in common lab, like LabCorp, you might have a couple in the area. They're all the same. They're not going to be different unless they're franchised, which is also a good question to ask. So I just ask them what their prices are. I write it down. I look to see what's the highest price and which one is the lowest price. And I go right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Love it. Love it. Have you, and you've seen success with that pricing structure, because it looks like when you talk to these guys, they're like, wait, is this? Oh, that's not too bad. Okay, let me go with you, Ebony.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I respect that. So tell us about, like I said, we're gonna talk about the ups and downs, okay? And that's why I love it. You are the story of perseverance. Tell us about the prenatal paternity test that you have to do with 6 recollections, and we're gonna explain what prenatal is and what a recollection is and how annoying it can be. Let's talk about that, Ebony. Let's talk about that.
Let's unpack it, y'all, for real. Let's unpack
Let's
it.
unpack it. Yeah.
Let's unpack it. So prenatals, of course, depending on if you're doing DDC or RAVGen, 7 weeks, 9 weeks is when women will go in for the blood pool, and dad will go in for the buccal swab. About a week later, you have some results. So in this particular sense, I did have a client that wanted to do a prenatal for whatever reason. It's her personal business. But we went in with DDC to any lab test. Now I outsourced her at Melbourne. Okay. So outsourced her out to Melbourne, any lab test now. They did the collection. I paid the collection fee. We sent it off to DDC, no problem. I want to say within 3 days, DDC sent an email and they're just like, hey, we need a recollection already. I'm just like, but it's only been like 3 days. Okay, what's the reason for the recollection? There's low fetal DNA. All right, well, she is about 7 weeks and 6 days. So that makes sense. Usually you think maybe once you might have to go for a recollection. Okay, so the second time rolls around, we do another recollection, same thing, any lab test now, Melbourne. Do the recollection, and I want to say within about 3 days after that, then the next collection, we need another one, still low fetal DNA count. So I want to say with each and every recollection, she went about 2 weeks. So we went from 7 to 9.
Oh my God, so like 15 weeks total, something like that. Oh my God.
She was about 15 weeks, 6 days. I'm 15 weeks, 5 days.
Oh my God.
When finally the 5th and the 6th collection was RAVGen. So I finally switched over to RAVGen because I figured that maybe DDC only doing 2 vials of blood, maybe that's not enough to count for fetal, the correct count for fetal DNA, because before they actually pull the fetal DNA for testing, they have to make sure that there's a healthy count of them. Right. So we have to make sure that there's DNA cells, a healthy count, and then the ones that are alive and moving are the ones that they're going to pull from. So if that isn't, that count of alive, moving, healthy DNA isn't available, then they'll ask for a recollection. Okay. Fetal DNA, I also learned, develops still, even outside of the body, it develops still. So they would say, wait until after the due date to recollect again, because it would still develop, which is odd. I never thought that it would be outside of the body, but it does. So by the 6-3 collection, Ravgen, this is the last one. Ravgen so we did 10 vials of blood for her all together with Ravgen. The second time, we finally were able to get results.
Wow.
Okay. Now we had to go, I want to say any lab test now would question her whether or not she was really pregnant. I mean, it was so far-fetched. It was so crazy to us because we didn't realize what was happening. So they honestly thought that she just wasn't pregnant. Maybe she was crazy, even that, to that extent. And so we even asked for, not we, but any lab asked for an ultrasound from her doctor. To make sure the woman was pregnant, because why isn't the fetal DNA developing? But you have to think about it. Every pregnancy is different. Every child is different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sometimes your baby doesn't develop well until 4, 5, 6 months down the line. And then you start, that's why you see women so flat, and then months later they're huge.
Yeah.
So that whole thing.
How did your customer service come into play? Because I've had recollections before, and they can get generally annoyed, but if you're on your 3rd, 4th, 5th, how did your customer service smooth things over with her?
Okay, so of course it had to come with a little bit of a discount, but of course. So I knocked off $100 off, which she either way didn't even care, but still I did that, and so she was very grateful for. But it was mostly just staying in contact with her. A lot of times, once people pay a deposit, or they want, they get off the phone with you, they want to see an email, they want to see a receipt. They want to see something almost immediately. So I made sure that I sent an email every single time I got off the phone with her, just to say, hey, if you have any questions or concerns, or I sent a text message updating you. Anytime I heard back from DDC or Ravgen, I automatically just forwarded the email to her so she can see for herself, reading from, like, this is a legit lab. It's not just me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm partnered with a legitimate lab, so you can see the title, the heading, so you know that this is real. And when you're dealing, and I have to be honest with you, when you're dealing with a certain type of people, you have to be very transparent, or otherwise you probably won't make that sale or earn their trust. So that's what I did, was simply just keep in contact with her. I made sure that she's just pregnant. So I'd make sure, hey, make sure you feed, eat today, or eat fruit today, or drink water today. And those little tokens was important. So when you over time learn about your client more and more when you're working with them, it's cool to, drop little here and there to let them know that you've been listening to them. Or, that you feel for them, especially when their situation is so tender, So that's pretty much what it was just being human, literally.
And that's exactly what I say, some other webinars, or even in the Slack channel, I say, you have to be empathetic in this business. Or if you can't be empathetic and you start the business, hire somebody who answers the phones or sends the emails to be empathetic. Because you have to, there's these situations, other situations where, somebody wants the child to be theirs and it's not theirs. You have to operate with tenderness, like you said, in your customer service. It's incredibly important. So has that been your only prenatal, or have you done other prenatal paternity tests?
So I've had one other prenatal, and that one was so easy. It was just easy peasy. Went in, the results came back in 5 days, and we used Ravgen, and easy peasy, no problem. Ravgen's prices have gone up, and so with the pricing rise, like the inflation and stuff, I still try to keep my prices still in the middle, and people are still really excited about the pricing. Not to mention, I think it's more so the payment plan that I offer,
payment plan,
and that's what really is a stickler. People love that.
Yeah, absolutely. How does that make you feel, by the way, when really you answer a call, you answer their questions, you send an invoice for a total of X amount, $13, $14, $15, et cetera. And then they pay it, and then they pay it off. And you're like, oh, I just made 4 figures, and you keep about, 400 or 500-ish around that area. So all you did was answer the phone. How does that make you feel?
Oh my gosh. It's just one of those things where you honestly just feel like a boss. I don't know what else to say. You just feels so good because, okay, so I utilize my Regis, the
Okay,
actual, yeah, so I actually utilize it. So when I do go in for in-person collections, that's where I go.
that's where you go.
And to go there and do my little quick setup, you
Yep,
know, to have it all
yep, yeah.
sanitized, and put my little sign up, my little sticker to the mirror and stuff like that is dope. Like you feel so good to not have to answer like 9 to 5 every day, or at least, which I still do work, but
Right.
it's just I cut down my hours
Wow.
because I'm able to see like you know, just that extra income coming in, and it's really good. Once a case is closed, like once you go into Great Helix and close your case, once you go into the portal at DDC and close your case,
Yep,
you're just like, dang,
I did that.
yeah, next one,
Next
you
one.
know.
And that's and so you see the
Yeah,
scalability of this. You see how big this can grow. This can be a $30,000-$50,000 a month business for you. You know, it
yeah,
really can. You know, it's just you doing the marketing that you're doing, setting yourself apart now, and doing all these things to set these things in motion. Year, 2, 3 years from now, I mean, you bossed up, and you don't have to work no. You don't have to work no more if you don't want to. You know what I mean? If you don't want
exactly. And that's the if I don't want to part, which I
to.
don't want to. So, you know, great.
I told you, I said in the Slack channel, one day you're just gonna be like, all right, y'all, I'm out, I'm done. And you're just gonna walk out.
So I kind of did it a little earlier than I wanted to. I'm not going for it, but
Oh,
I did it a little earlier than I wanted to. But when you just feel like, especially when you've been so consistent with something, when you just feel like this is gonna work, this is for me, this is working for me. Like once you see it actually working for you, and the only person who did the work was you, you're just like, I don't ever want to stop this. You know,
absolutely.
now it makes me wonder what else I can do, what
Oh,
other
wow.
things I can get into, you
That's
know? So now I'm expanding into CLIA.
okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Um, I'm expanding into that fingerprinting so we can kind of do the whole shebang all
Yep.
together. And I do want to mention this other thing. Um, certain collections, you just have to know when is not for you.
Mm. Mm.
You'll learn quickly that some collections just are not for you.
Mm.
Right. And there are just certain collections that I just won't accept. For example, there's one where I had to go into a prison, a high security prison, and do a collection for an inmate. And it wasn't very secure for it to be a maximum security type prison.
Scary, yeah.
And right. So I contacted DDC just to get advice on what I should do. And so from now on, if I have a call like that, what I'll do is just send the kit to the prison, to medical, or notify classification of what's
Okay.
going on, because they're usually familiar with inmate DNA tests. They just need the actual kit with all of the fixings that come with it. And that's how I'll do that.
And they can collect on your behalf, and you pay them something, or they send you an invoice. I wonder how does that go? Would you pay them ahead of time, or what they figure out with that one?
Oh, as in like the jail?
Yeah, like the jail, like the medical person collecting, would they collect on your behalf?
No, no. Yeah, they collect on my behalf, the medical, or whoever is medically trained in classification. But usually it should go to medical.
Okay.
And that's when they'll do the collection. And there's no fee for anything. They don't charge you for anything, or at least this
Oh,
prison doesn't. So
wow. Okay. See, I never do. I have not done an inmate DNA test yet. So you and Jaquaria have done them, and I just say, hey, y'all teach that to the Slack channel, because I have no idea how to do that. I don't speak on what I don't know.
not interested. So I will just be forwarding over a kit to you know, whatever facility or holding facility that they are at, and that's how that'll work.
Gotcha.
But I won't be doing that.
Okay. Okay. Great. So wrapping up here, where do you see your business in the next 5 years? What do you envision? And you obviously, don't be scared to, some folks, I'm not saying you will, but some folks be scared to talk about their visions. Where do you see your business being in 5 years?
I see just So I'm actually faced in front. I'm actually parked in front of the building I'm looking to either buy into or lease out. But I want to have, and let's see if I can actually do it there. I don't know if y'all can see that building across the street there. So that's an executive building. It has like a, all the fixings that you need for a collection facility.
Love it.
And this is what I'm going to do here. And we're going to put it all Delayed DNA, brighten it up. But it's the land here is really inexpensive, and buildings here are really inexpensive,
Okay.
even with the market. So I want to say within the next few years, I should have some money to be able to take care of this. And that's what we're going to have.
Keep it going.
A storefront. Yeah, yeah.
I love it. And I think you can attain that with all the work that you're doing now with marketing and networking and doing good business, doing good work. You'll get there. There's no doubt about it. You'll definitely get there.
I'm really excited. I never thought that I could actually do something for myself other than work, like for other people, and give all of my good customer service away and work my tail off for other people until, like I said, if it really wasn't for my brother shining light on your course, I probably would have never thought about doing anything like this before, yet alone starting a company. So this is really great.
Shout out
I'm
to
grateful
Matt.
for the course.
Shout
Yeah.
out to Matt. Absolutely. I love it. I really like it. What advice do you have for people that's looking to get into this industry?
I would have to say jump into it. Get all of the knowledge that you can by if you know somebody that's in the business, like hang out with them, go on their collections. If they're okay with you going, get yourself out there and see what it's really like. I would say market yourself very, very well. Don't be afraid to get yourself out there and smile and talk to people. And, just know who you think would want services like this. Think about the people you're around and where you're located, where you are, and just hop right into it. Stay consistent. You're tired, stay consistent. Keep doing it every day. I learned for 21 days, if you do something for 21 days, more than likely it'll be something that's consistent in your life and it stays. So try it.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Consistency is key, because there are some times, my phone wouldn't ring for a week and I'm like, damn, this sucks. But you see the bigger picture. Same thing with you, Ebony. 6 recollections, that would take an average person out the game. They may not want to do a DNA testing business anymore, even though that's an anomaly. That doesn't happen that often, but that can take somebody out. But you're consistent. You're on this journey, and I see it. I'm so happy that you're continuing. I really see some really, really dope things happening for you out there in DeLand in South Florida, and well, not South Florida, Orlando area. So I'm excited. I'm excited for you.
Me too. And like I said, I'm grateful, and I just stick into the chat as much as I can. I have been absent due to other things, but
Yeah.
It's really good to have people, like a group of people who are doing the same things, for us to kind of like nitpick off of each other, not nitpick, but pick off of each other's brains and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
No problem. That's the Paternity University community. That's what it's all about. Ebony, thank you. I appreciate it. Where can people go if somebody wants a paternity test from you? If they come across this interview, where can they go to get a paternity test from you in that area? Or if you want to, if they're anywhere else in the US, right? Because you can do it nationwide, right?
So that's true. Well, you all can search all DeLand DNA testing, or you can go to my Square site, which is alldelanddna.square.site, and you'll be able to check out there. I'm also on social media at Instagram, alldeland_DNA testing, as well as on TikTok too. Check out my crazy videos.
Love it. All right, I'm going to post all that in the show notes. Thank you, Ebony, for coming on. I really appreciate it. And hey, everybody, look, if you like this video, please like and share and subscribe. You might know somebody, or you yourself might want to start your own DNA testing business. And if somebody you may know needs a paternity test, hey, get with Ebony. She will take care of you. Okay. Ebony, until next time, thank you so much, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.